Hi, how's it going, everyone? Hope you're doing well. I'm BoredGamer. We are here on getting towards the end of July now, and 3.14 still not in Open PTU, even is it? But though I am hoping that we'll see Open PTU over the weekend. I think. Um, there's so much that could be going on with CIG and balance and 3.14. Like, oh, someone's going to repeatedly pump their horn outside my hat. Yeah. Thanks. Good job. Yeah, honk that horn. Good job. Sorry if you hear that. But yeah, so it really depends on how CIG are planning to do the balance for 3.14. So I was originally hoping that we'd see 3.14 live middle of July. Now, because of the huge amount of combat changes and everything, that's obviously hasn't happened. Power changes, combat changes, balance changes for ships and all that sort of stuff. Ships, weapons, items. Now, are CIG going to push forward with getting stuff heavily balanced before releasing 3.14 live? If so, we're going to have a hugely long PTU phase. It's possible that they might just go, well, actually, we're balancing in 3.4.x patches, 3.14.x patches, or 3.15, or when we get physical components. So they might go, well, actually, let's just keep all size 1, all size 2, and all size 3 components, all size 1 components the same, all size 2 components the same, and then just balance out like that. So nice, quick, similar, easy. And then go, well, Star Citizen's in a relatively good place, no variants, but it's fine until we're ready to balance. And then if they do that, then they can actually have a live build. But it's very dependent on what sort of pathway they're going, and we don't know. We don't know which path they're going in. How are you doing? Hope you're doing it. Very tired at the moment. We're not going to be streaming for a huge amount of time today. Just want to go have another nap, quite genuinely. We've got a couple of videos done today. We're working on a Star Citizen 3.14 video. I want to get some solid B-roll done as well. At some point over the weekend, I want to play Pirate Swarm and talk more about the current combat changes we're seeing. And obviously the standard news videos, and there's a load of 3.14 content videos that I want to do, but I'm sort of waiting for balance and some of the other stuff to get tweaked into a solid position. So, but I'm doing all right. My dad, thank you very much for people and all kind words about him. He's at home. He's comfortable in bed. Looking after him. It's obviously relatively upsetting for us, but it could be a billion times worse. But we got him home, and we look after him at home, and he's yeah. But thank you very much for all the kind words. Can you make your stream more Star Citizen authentic by adding some desync to your broadcast? I mean, if I'd actually desynced it, like, really, that would have been better, wouldn't it? Can't believe anything the CIG says. Anything they do is tainted till they prove desync and thinins. They say actually means something. No reason to take them seriously more. I mean, just why even watch anything they do or do anything until the game launches? Then, I mean, if you genuinely don't believe what CIG say at all, and you're like, whatever they say is a lie, then why listen to them at all? You're entitled to your opinion, but you're not giving much of a sort of an out there. You're not saying, I want them to do this or I want them to do that. You're saying, well, actually, current goalposts, so they need to do desync. If they don't do desync, they're all liars. Okay, I get you. And desync is a problem. They seem to be focused on desync. That's one of the things. They seem to acknowledge that desync is an issue. They seem to be working towards some desync issues. I mean, I think that desyncs are a wider problem that probably needs server meshing and the wider network overhaul to really get ironed out. But I think CIG, they share a lot of information. There's more information they could be sharing. It's the double-edged sword of communication. Well, actually, CIG are pretty good at communicating, but they actually need to be communicating a lot more because of what they do give us. They actually need to explain themselves a bit better and not be erratic with the communication. That's bored. The roadmap goes to 2022. It's going to go on. I want it to go on to 2025, mate. I don't see anything. Anyone having sex with my wife? What is this? What? I don't even have a wife. The post from Xylo the other night about manipulating QA questions was a kick in the teeth. No, I totally disagree. So, okay, I've got an opinion on. I've got a much more stronger opinion on that. Basically, someone messaged on the Spectrum thread, Xylo basically saying, actually, let me bring it up. Let me bring it up, rather than talking in what ifs, maybes, and stuff. Yeah, I'm pretty tired, so this is actually waking me up a bit. The tyranny of looking for questions is the thread. Looks like we've rehearsed this, everyone. I do appreciate you being here, even though I don't necessarily agree with your opinions or anything. It's all good. You're entitled to your opinion. Quite genuinely you are. I'm not taking that away from you. So the tyranny of looking for questions. So basically, there's actually a video that will go out later today. I think I talk about this thread. But Client Imperium, the original poster says, look, what's the point in your AMA threads with questions, because just the top ones get picked that go in very early. It's about whoever gets in earliest, although I would argue there's also popularity there as well, that gets upvoted the most, and then those questions get asked. And then if you leave it like half an hour, none of those questions are going to get asked because they weren't at the top of the pile. And then they say, look, we do look at the other questions, and we ask some questions, and we inject some of our own questions that we think people might want to hear as well. And then someone said, you understand by injecting your own questions, you're manipulating the player base. It's called gaslighting. Are you proud of that? And Silo basically says, look, we want to get a wide spectrum of questions answered, and we inject some of our own there, but we look at more questions and put all of that out. So we talk about some stuff that people hadn't necessarily asked or didn't realise they wanted to ask. And I think that is fair enough. Cloud Imperium are making their game. They produce... Well, they can release what they want with their patches. They can release what they want with their patch notes. They can release what data they want in Inside Star Citizen and Star Citizen Live. And they do. And them going, well, actually, we also put in some of our own questions into these Q&As that the community haven't asked. I think that's fair enough. That's not gaslighting. That's not even manipulating the community. What I would like to see is that that question was asked by Xylo or by Disco Lando. But typically, it's just a slightly reworded question from the community. But I don't see a problem with that at all. It's not them saying the most asked question was this and then them lying about it. Although that's probably happened. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't gone back through all of it, but there's something more overt about them going. You can understand why they ignore certain questions because they're not relevant or because they've already answered them. I think that's fair enough what they do there. I would argue that. I would like different questions asked, and they probably need to curate questions better, and the community can probably have better ways of asking those questions or it'd be nicer for us to get questions that we want answered more readily and not the same old ones repeated and not there to be a popularity contest. So I use an alias, for example, when I post my questions, and but I do get in within the first few seconds of a thread going live, and they do and are at the top of the pile usually. I'm not sharing my aliases with anyone, because otherwise that would defeat the purpose of having aliases for that sort of thing. What's your name, BoredGamer? It's just a nice brand name that I came up with, and also I get bored with games very quickly and easily. But that has not happened with Star Citizen. But also the channel was supposed to cover board games as well. I play lots of board games, but it never has. Well, maybe in the future. I do want to do that. They don't deny the desync. Well, they don't. It's good that they don't, because it's quite overt. Yeah, keep me on my toes. Yeah. Pretty sure he was bored and decided to cover one game series. What's going on? Yeah, I think it was a bit extreme calling it gaslighting, but people are entitled to their opinions. It's all good. I like the fact that they Solo answered it as well, just like saying, I don't see it like this. It doesn't seem like gaslighting to me. It's deceptive board if they're answering the community by only answering employee. But they're not only answering employee questions. They're answering... But I do think that they should say this question is asked by. Disco Lando or Silo, and that's fair enough. Have a couple of questions thrown in by the team that they say, well, this is what we think you should be asking. I think that's fine. No, lighting your farts does not count. What are you talking about? Oh, gaslighting. I see. How do you know they're not answering employee questions? Well, they might be as well, but you can see the threads, and then you can look at and compare the threads to what they asked. I mean, you can do that, but that information's there. They might also be answering employee questions, and they're okay to do that. But I would actually like to see in the future who asked the questions, and I'm okay with them. Some of them being asked by Lando, by Xylo, by whatever, as long as they say that. I think that's sort of fair enough. We sort of expect that. Do you know what I mean? Why sneak in and ask questions to release info when they can just do it in a press release or post? Well, because it can give more context to the Q&A that they're talking about, and they can go, well, actually, these questions have been asked, or this is something we're working on, so it's probably worth putting some information in here. That makes sense? So many questions, never answering when's it going to be finished. They don't know. They don't know when it's going to be finished. It's going to take... it's done when it's done, I think they say. They can answer individual sprints of when they're targeted to be finished, but even then, that's not a... we know it's going to be finished X, Y, or Z. I think it's fine to be critical of some of the stuff that CIG do, for sure. I mean, the development cycle was ridiculously long, and they get stuff wrong, especially individual bits of it. You can criticize stuff individually pretty easily, and I think that's fair enough. But going, well, the game's not done yet, or CIG lied to us all the time, I mean, that's a bit sort of sweeping and broad, and do they? I don't think they lie to us. I think they might be a bit crappy with communication sometimes. They probably have previously been misleading. Maybe, yes. Like, oh, is he saying they're lying? I don't think so. But I can't overtly say they've never lied, because I don't fucking know, do I? I hope it's never finished. Well, I hope there's actually a release and they keep on developing it beyond release. But I do want a nice, finished, polished product that I can go, yeah, this is on the shelf release. This is version 1. This is good. Bam. Do it. Ever seen a game studio communicating as much with the community as Cloud Imperium? No. So that's it. But just because they communicate a load, Cloud Imperium, doesn't mean they always get their communication right. And it does also mean, because of the way they've developed the game and because of the way they've got the community, they do need to communicate in the right way and constantly. So you can't... and they are erratic with communication sometimes. And I don't think it's appropriate, for example, for them to have a 3-4 week hiatus with it, Inside Star Citizen. I mean, I do think it's fine for Jared and people that work on that to have a break. But I'd do something else in the meantime, or get someone else in to do those videos while there's the break on. I mean, there's loads of other stuff they could cover and talk about, for sure. I mean, I find stuff to talk about for Star Citizen every day, so I'm sure they can as well. And they've got the pretty development things as well. Ooh, what are you working on? Huh? What are you doing? Don't come back here. There's quality communication versus communicating a lot. Yeah, and Cloud Imperium sort of need to do both. Do you know what I mean? I don't... Some people think that Bob is a troll. That's fine. You can think that. I think that he has opinions on the game, and he's allowed to ask his questions in my AMA stuff, and I'll happily answer him. I'll talk to him about it, and I think that's fair enough. It's all good. I most of the time have a different opinion or different point of view on these things, and it's fine for people to talk about that. Don't want people to get angry or agitated at each other. Just be civil. That's all I sort of ask for. The company makes communicates more about its progress on the game than anyone else who's not making the game. I'm confused by that statement, but my brain is not working properly. It's been a long week. It's been a tiring week so far. But But as I said, I hope everyone is doing well. If you'd like to ask a question in chat, question in brackets, and I'll try and pick it out from the pile. Answer call 2016. Well, that's not necessarily saying it was going to be released in 2016, although we did expect it to be released in 2016, admittedly. You lost the game. Good job. Carnival! How do you think the Banner Merchantman will play in game? Will it be a lifestyle, having to spend all your time aboard it to make it viable? I mean, I think a lot of people are going to want to do that with their sort of cargo transport ships and things. Only sometimes... Okay, so the Banner Merchantman is supposed to be a floating shop and sort of marketplace and cargo hauler. So you're going to be flying to wherever you want. You could and have actually quite a long distance of trade. So going to very small outposts, going to planets, landing zones, stations. You're going to be able to go to a huge range of places and then sort of dock with those places, land at those places, have people come aboard, dock with your ship, and actually buy directly from your shops that you've got set up there. Lots of different types of shop you'll be able to set up there and get NPCs or sort of automated systems to sell to people. And you're going to also be able to do cargo hauling at the same time. So to what extent you'll be able to make profit from that, it sort of depends on a lot of things, especially seeing that they haven't fully fleshed out all of those gameplay loops yet, even in sort of like design documents or anything. So we're still waiting on that. But that's how it's sort of like how I'd expect it to pan out. You being able to actually have quite a range of places you can travel to do a mixture of cargo hauling and selling as like a little mini shopping mall. Why won't you just be able to AFK a Kraken and ban a Merchantman with a hotkey program and passively make money that way? I mean, you'll have to restock your ship every so often. So if you've got your Kraken Privateer, you ban a Merchantman, you're still going to have to stock those shops. And you will be able to stay in a position the way it sounds, and be able to go to a place and just wait for a while for your stock to sell out if you want to do it that way. Not sure what sort of hotkey program you think could be used to make money, but also regarding the Banner Merchantman, do you think it will synergize with the Defender? So that's the last we heard with it. It's supposed to have some synergy with the Defender, whether that's a light dock so that they can travel together, or rearm or fuel it or something. We don't know. But expect something like that. Yeah, I'm expecting the Banner Merchantman to go up quite a lot. Someone says here, I expect the Banner Merchantman to go up at least another $200. Yeah, I think that's probably fair. I think that's probably how much it will go up by. Sir David Betty. Sir David, thank you very much for becoming a board gamer member. Very much appreciated. Namaste. I'm not sure I'm doing that. With the cargo refactor to standard cargo units, will the Banner Merchantman be closer to 1,000 cargo units? Don't know. Don't know what the cargo refactor has done to it. Because you've got to include the shop space as well for its cargo, really. And we don't know how that's changed. Are you going to play and stream New World? It's been a bit of a hellish week, hellish few weeks, because looking after my dad at the moment, and that's pretty time consuming. So I will be looking at New World. I've got a key for it. I haven't played in the beta even yet, so I'll play the beta, have a mess around, see if I can entice any of my other mates to play it, and see if it's worth streaming. And obviously a lot of people like it. Salty Mike invited me to play with the content creator group, and I thought it was very kind of him, but it's a bad time for me to for playing other games at the moment. Do you think the culling feature in 3.15 is going to help with desync? Maybe if it's tied to server-based stuff. I mean, from what I can tell, the cull will be more client-side to help frame rates. So it will cull things aren't needed there. But it could also be tied to server as well as client, maybe. With the current changes being implemented in 3.14, the strength of ships' turrets is really starting to stand out, in a good way, for the most part. With this in mind, do you think Cloud Imperium might increase the priority of getting AI blades introduced in the game? So, yeah, I think they are working on them. So they did a load of AI blade work with the Bengal. So the Bengal that turned up during Fleet Week, that large portion of that work was getting modular sort of AI modules on that, so that they reacted in a more efficient and server and client-friendly way. But that was actually big steps towards getting AI modules in the game. So I think those AI blades are super important. I think they're going to be huge changes, going to lead to huge changes to the game, for sure. Even in the short term. Do you think it's ridiculous right now, Board? So, I mean, they're trying to hunt it down, for sure. They did fix some of the desync for me, with some of the overt desync coming out of quantum travel. But obviously that's not ideal when they haven't fixed it properly for combat, for example. One of the largest creators, what are your predictions when this game releases and it finally attracts the PewDiePie armies? Do you think the coverage and the audience will change? No, I mean, the game is going to appeal to an older audience because of various factors, including barriers to entry with you needing a reasonably good computer, at least to play. It is a buy-to-play game. You need a... It's not a sort of like instant gratification game either, like a battle royale would be. So that there's a lot of research and stuff needed before you play Star Citizen properly. And I think that people with low attention spans, a younger audience, are not going to be as wanting to play that. Basically, do you think casuals are more mainstream and more mainstream content creators could have an impact in gameplay with their coverage and all the audience flooding in? I mean, more audience, more people, different audiences are going to affect the direction that the game goes to some extent, because they'll then have a say in more of the development of the game. And at least Cloud Imperium will, they'll try to go towards where some of the money is, for sure, I think. It sort of makes sense, right? It's going to have an influence. But I don't think that Star Citizen is going to get truly sort of mainstream until it releases anyway, so... Of the first solar systems beyond Pyro and Nyx, which ones do you believe are more likely to be based on the development pipeline? What? What do you mean? So, I think we'll see Pyro, Nyx, and then Odin system. Odin system, obviously, Squadron 42 system that's connected to that chain. Very likely to get Magnus. I want to get Terra out at some point, but I don't know when. We've seen bits of Lear 3. They're going to want to expand from those star systems as they go out. Do you know what I mean? And they'll try and get like half a dozen in, would be my expectation in the mid-term. Why do you have to climb to 750k to leave Orison now? I'm not sure if it's a bug or not. Sort of like people were saying that the edge is now 750k, which is weird. What does 07 mean? It's a salute. Salute, boy. Any advice on how to actually buy a 3090? The 3090 should be a lot more available in the coming month or so. So look, production for those higher end chips should be okay, and they're starting to actually get them out. the low hash rate models have dented slightly the want of Ethereum miners. Obviously, Ethereum had at least a mini crash. It's possible that it could crash again with the London upgrade as well. So, if you see Ethereum crash or more regulation come in, then you'll be able to get one easily. But it does look like the manufacturers are actually getting the high-end cards. They're starting to get them back out now, so there should be the ability to purchase them. Do you think they will add slightly more fleshed out cities at some point instead of it being areas around the metro that you can through walk between one station to another? So I think you will see more locations within and around cities. So cities will get a bit bigger. There'll be a bit more movement between them, and you'll be able to like go into some of the buildings on other platforms and things like that as part of missions and that sort of stuff. But you're not going to have these huge, entirely walkable cities because they don't want that. They want to focus gameplay in certain areas. Are they going to make more fighters with beds? Maybe. It's possible. But they typically want fighters to be shorter range, so they probably want them not to have a bed. You know, like, typically anyway. Heavy fighters, maybe. Do you think the 400i will come with this patch? No, but I do think the 400i is a thing. What price do you assume it will be? It's going to be sort of like Constellation Phoenix sort of price. Nah. Between Aquila and Phoenix sort of price. Would be my expectation. Maybe Aquila price sort of thing. Any word on your original RTX 3080 order? It's been 10 months. So, I did get a couple of 3080s from a very kind viewer who sold me to them at RRP from his company. He's a legend. Thank you very much. He doesn't tell me what he wants me to do, if he wants to shout out or what. But they are good chaps. My 3080, which I originally bought, still has not come to me. They have said to me for several months. I bought when it was in stock, okay, and then on the website they said, "Look, this is still the best and easiest and quickest place you're going to be able to get your pre-order." Wait. 2 months ago, there was no more contact from them about getting my cards. Okay, that's weird. I'm in position like 11 or something in the queue. Okay, maybe they're just waiting for something. And they emailed me earlier saying, "Oh, we can upgrade your card now. We can upgrade it, and we can give you discounted prices." Okay. Oh, you can have a 3080 Ti for £1,300. What? The upgrade for that is over twice the amount I paid for my card. I want my 3080, and they're not going to get it. And when they do get it, it'll be the like hash rate model, and it won't have the same sort of value. And it's just infuriating. And they were a bit dodgy, in my opinion. I will talk about it. I might cancel the order and then do a video, or I might do a video about it, not cancelling the order and then cancel the order afterwards. I'm so annoyed about it. Do you play with joystick? I have not played with joystick for a while. I've got a Verbal Constellation Delta, which is great. Hotas. I'm going to freaking Star Wars Land for the first time at Disney World tomorrow. I'm excited. I hope you have fun. Hope you enjoy it. How long until Chris Roberts announces the Star Citizen theme park? What would the rides be? Oh my god. The money cannon is firing money at you. To the moon. It just takes you to the moon, but it takes forever. It never actually gets there. I don't know. Oh my god. We were looking at doing those rallies around like Europe. We get in a car and drive for 4 days around Europe, and people do silly things. And we were thinking of doing a Star Citizen one with a Chris Roberts decal on the car and a spaceship on top and silly stuff like that. How do you feel about the influx of Elite Dangerous refugees discovering Star Citizen after all these years? I'm not sure if Star Citizen is ready for the Elite Dangerous players that want to sit down and play a game. Like, Star Citizen is great for a tourist experience, but it is still very much being built out. So I'm glad that they're coming and having another look at it. Hope they enjoy it, but as long as they understand that it is alpha and it's not a sort of polished sit down full experience yet by any means. And I'm thinking that for me, Elite Dangerous is a little bit too shallow for the gameplay I wanted, but it was a fully finished product when it was released. Is Chris Roberts getting ready to run off with money? I don't think so, no. Why would he? Why would he build a studio with over 720 people and develop a game for 10 years and then try and run off with the money? Doesn't make any sense. He'd have a smaller studio and funnel off the money. Yeah. Lots more of the money. And then go, the game didn't work. If he was going to take the money, that'd be idiotic. It'd be idiotic what he's done. He doesn't even know how to scam. Your comments on the Gatling in a previous video can we make a poll with the solution? Also, what about ballistic penetration only in extremely weakened shields? I mean, that sort of makes sense. I like the idea of having shields being effective against energy weapons, but energy weapons training shields pretty effectively. But there could be more. See, I like the idea of energy weapons being reasonable, moderately effective against shields and armor, and then the hull. Yeah? But I also like the idea of ballistics not being effective against shields at all, but being very effective against armor and hull. And then I like the idea of distortion weapons being very effective against shields and individual components, but they don't deal permanent damage or anything. Maybe you'd have obviously there's other damaging weapon types as well. But I think it's weird what they've done with the ballistics, just going, well, the ballistics are very small amounts of ammo, but OP. They're huge damage. They do penetrate shields sometimes and things like that. Like, I wouldn't have them penetrating shields at all. And I'd actually have ballistics use them in burst, but use them in burst once you've taken shields down to help get kill shots. That's how I'd do it. I know what I was talking about. Also, do you want brrr or pew, 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 pew? What sound do you want for sort of like rapid fire ballistic weapons? Third in Spectrum yesterday was on what one plan? Was on what one plans we have when we have most things in game, career mining, box running. Just wondering, what about you if you were able to ponder the future? What? Sparrow, you've melted my brain with that question. Just what what was it? I don't understand. I don't understand the question. That's what I think of that question. Thanks, though. The cannon range has been lowered. Yes, it has. Has CIG been responsive to negative feedback there? They're still balancing. It's with stuff like that, when cannon ranges and ballistic ranges and damage is all changing and ammo and all that stuff, you give feedback. It's weird that the cannon ranges have changed, admittedly. If they don't make fighters with beds, what will we use for cargo escort? Well, long-range ships. I mean, so some ships should have beds. Long-range escort fighters and heavy fighters should have beds, and others might. Also, escorts. Some escorts might have to be going along with the carrier ship. Or maybe they are supposed to be short-range escorts. Did you happen to see Microsoft say that they had found a bug that reduces frame rates for gamers on the PCs? They promised to fix soon. Cool. No, I didn't see that, but awesome. Are you trying to server fill these upcoming dynamic events with members of your community? Yes, Zina will be arranging that once we actually have more details on when they're going. But yes, appreciated. Ishi DM? How I say your name? Will they add roads within and around major landing zones soon? So, they've talked about road tech before, and they've actually previously had road tech working, but it breaks when they update planet tech. I think we'll see some roads. I think some of the outposts that they've planned, the homesteads and these other outposts that they've got planned, training outposts and things, I think some of them will have roads between them. But we'll sort of have to wait and see. You're not going to see this sort of like sprawling road network that will be able to go around on a planet. You might see some roads that we're able to move between. If you were teleported in Stanton without crew and 5,000 FUC, which one ship would you take to start your journey? I mean, probably a Carrack. I mean, if I had to go smaller, Mercury Star Runner. How is the AI for the turrets now? Does it work with the majority of ships? I don't know, really. I mean, so that because of the position of desync and some of the problems with that, I haven't... Normal fighters in Arena Commander work fine. There was a load of problems with the effects of invisible fire and them firing in the wrong directions, even though they were firing in the right directions as well. I need to mess around in the latest PTU with it. Certainly, players in turrets, multi-crew ships are a magnitude more effective now. But Star Citizen is much more gamified than it is real, so that's certainly a thing. Sorry, mate, can only type so much. No worries. It's very. Had to hack my question down to gibberish. So, once all the bells and whistles are in game, do you plan making all the money or just rendering the universe? I'll mess around a little bit trying to work out what I like doing the most, but I do want to make all the money. Like I do enjoy doing industry and being a bit of an economy player and making money. Do you use and can you recommend the Tobii Eye Tracker? I've used it. It suits a special sort of test. It suits a certain type of person that has enough screen real estate to use it, because the bigger your screen, the better, because you actually have look around the screen a bit more. You can use it a bit better, and if you can remember to use it and add it to your sort of tools, it's actually pretty effective. But it's expensive. Do you expect we will be able to have many ships streamed into the game at final release, or will they be limited to 3 ships that can be spawned at one time? Oh, how many can we spawn? That's a good question. I hope that we could spawn potentially many as we want, as long as someone's in them, doing something with them. Maybe you've got to pay tax or an ongoing fee per ship you have spawned or something. See what you mean, though. What do you think is currently holding back capital ships like the Polaris and Kraken from being added into the game? A mixture of not enough resources being able to be allocated to them at this stage and other priorities. Any word on the Titan? So still waiting on that beautiful set of armor. I'm very, very, very excited about the Titan suits. We've been waiting for them for ages. It's a bit upsetting. Sketch Therapy, thank you very much for the sub. Very much appreciated, sir. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Would you like to do one-on-ones with CIG employees to ask the hard questions? Yeah. I mean, so I'm hoping that I get to go to an office tour towards the end of this year when they're all back at their offices. I think they're sorting out a new office in the UK as well. Yeah, I really want to do that. I do want to talk to some CIG employees. I mean, you're going to want to ask hard questions. I'm going to sort of want to ask development updates. They're not going to be able to talk about certain things. That's the issue. When you talk to the employees, they're not going to be able to answer the hard questions because their questions are going to be vetted. You sort of just have to be aware of that. I mean, I can talk to other people, ex-CIG employees and things like that. We talk to other people from that community. Which would you rather be eaten by, a space whale, boreal yeti, or sandworm? I think you're more likely to be able to escape from a... I mean, it's all horrible. The boreal yeti... The space whale and the sandworm, it's possible that you might be able to escape somehow after you've gone into its mouth. Eh? Boreal yeti, it's going to have already ripped you apart. And probably the sandworm for more potential for escape. Obviously, you escape from a space whale, you're still in the gas giant, aren't you? When do you think we could get smaller capital ships like the Polaris? Because the Polaris is smaller than the Night Jump. I'm expecting to see some of these ships, like the popular ones, next year, end of next year. Is there anything we're not waiting for, board? Mouse support, keyboard support's in. There's some menus. I mean, Star Citizen is very pretty. It works. It's alpha. There's a huge amount that needs to be done with it. They're working on it. Can you give me a ballpark figure of how many years this game would take before a soft launch? 4 more years. 4 to 5 years, but more likely 4.5 years sort of thing. That'd be my expectation for Star Citizen, the MMO. Would you rather investigate the Lost Colony or an ancient temple for smaller, rarer artifacts and loot? Or are you more interested in larger beat gameplay? I sort of want to do all of that. But I think I would rather go to ancient temples for loot as well. Oh, I don't know. I like it all. Do genuinely like it all. Bear with me 1 second. Sketch Therapy, thank you very much for the primary boy. Thank you very much for the bits, Jag. Oh, you star, thank you. I love the bits. We love the stock. Oh, I don't think I tweeted, but I was straight. It doesn't matter. Too tired. Go here. No, that's not what I wanted to do at all. So I do apologise. I am pretty rough today. Rougher than normal. That's what I want. Okay. Perfect. What else do we got? Any word on the Jump Point hardcovers? No. I've asked because I want them as well. I haven't had any update at all. I asked my last time I talked to you about this, which is a month ago, I think. I talked to one of my mates at CIG, and he went, "I'll ask for you," but I haven't had anything back from him since then. Actually, the second guy I've asked to ask about it as well. Shouldn't the if I know anything, feel free to poke me anytime, mate, about it. I want them as well. So, any news on Manchester Bar Citizen plan you teased? No. So I want to know that the CIG studios are opening up properly, and once that's happened, I'll start organising a big Bar Citizen. That's what I want to do. Arch on little arc on a hill. Lily? I have no idea how to say your name. My brain can't process it. Thanks very much for the Prime sub, though. Appreciate it. Ocon. Let's call you that. Shall I? Okay, perfect. Thanks. I can't. I'm dyslexic, so words or names that I've not seen before, I have terrible trouble with. Greg Moulton. Hope your dad gets better. Unfortunately, I appreciate the love and I appreciate the money. Unfortunately, my father will not get better. He's too stubborn. No, my dad is he's at home and he's safe and he's comfortable, but he has end-stage brain cancer. He's not recovering from that. We've brought him home so that he can pass comfortably at home. It's one of the reasons I'm pretty tired. One of the reasons, well, they might see erratic content from me. But I do genuinely appreciate all the love. And if people are attempting to chuck money at me and stuff, it unfortunately won't help money. Money does not help with everything. I'm very lucky to be in the UK with NHS. They've been mostly pretty good. We had to jump through hoops to get them out of hospital. I appreciate all the love, quite genuine. Thank you, everyone. But, thank you very much, Greg. I think some people are just sort of like, he'll be fine, he'll be okay. Unfortunately, he won't. But it's not the end of the world for us or anything. It is part of life. Death is part of life, and I mean, I'm gonna, yeah. Now's not the time for me mourning either, sort of thing. I'm just looking after him. But genuinely thank you for the love. Shouldn't the Kraken be released for Pyro? I like. Okay, so I do want the Kraken to be in game earlier rather than later because it can be basically a pirate base. Do you know what I mean? And pirates can operate out of that as part of the Quanta system, and you can actually have those places as somewhere to raid and attack. 3.14 is not live yet. It is in second wave PTU at the moment. Hoping it will be Open PTU by the end of today or at some point this weekend. Sorry if I keep it light, board. I do appreciate all the love, quite genuinely. Thank you. Oop. No, I don't want to hide chat. Couldn't chat. So, yeah, there's a lot going on with 3.14 balance, and I actually quite like most of the changes on paper. I like what they're doing. We do need the desync gone, because otherwise it doesn't matter if the changes are good. Do you know what I mean? So, as much as they can do to alleviate desync, the better. Now, it's probable that it's not going to be fixed for 3.14, but if they just get it into a better state, yeah, cool. Get it into as good a state as they can before release. Beyond that, the amount of balance they need to do, is that going to mean that you have a hugely long Open PTU? Yeah, quite possibly. And then we've got those major events. We've got Ninetales Lockdown. We've got Xenothreat Mark II. So what you're looking at in the background there is basically part of damage control and power management. So there are going to be power relays, especially on larger ships, that can be turned on and off that basically connect all your systems together as their own separate items, these power relays. So they can burn out, they can get damaged, they can need maintenance. You can turn them on and off, you can reroute power around them. But it's not just about your standard components on your ship, it's also about these power relays as well. So you'll have engineers running around fixing them. There's a fire broken out, you'll need to deal with the fire, get the power relay on again. I pray your plant has a miraculous recovery. Thank you very much, Jeff Hardy. Godspeed. Do you think that HAL series can be loaded with sensitive cargo and drop unmanned from dropped unmanned from Atmo as a massive bomb. So, okay. I want to see ships and vehicles that are used for ramming and dropping and things like that to be significantly less effective than any form of military ordnance or any form of weaponry. Yeah? Weapons are built to do damage and exploding things. Ramming, I think there should be... I think your shield should deal with ramming. If someone tries to ram you, well, your shields just deflect them. They're not going that fast, and it's certainly not going fast as your pew-pews are going to be going. Do you know what I mean? Size 15 torpedo, much more effective indeed. Don't know if this has been asked, but do you think they'll announce Pyro or Nyx at CitizenCon? I think we're going to see Pyro and Nyx at CitizenCon. I think they'll just have like a gameplay bit with it. I think they'll probably say where they're planned at CitizenCon as well. That seems quite possible. I appreciate the kind words. Sketch therapy. I'm a believer in love and comfort, and actually people aren't too bad as things on the planet. I'm very tired. Sort of just rambling. Our flight's going to be long enough for anything but the largest shops to facilitate people running around through abandoned ships. Larger ships are going to have higher times to kill. So if you've got an interior where you can be doing engineering, your ship's going to have a significantly higher time to kill is the idea. That looks like they're where they're going as well with these changes. But physicalized components will make that hugely like that, because ships won't just explode anymore. It will be damaging individual components, and that will mean that a ship is disabled or crippled. Yeah? What do you think is the end game with distortion weapons? When finalized, are they supposed to be able to disable ship components, or will they forever be shield strippers? I think there are going to be some that are shield strippers and some that are going to be component dampeners. I mean, I'd like to see them used for webifying people almost as well, so slowing them down. When the Javelin is available to buy in-game, how much do you think it will cost? And also, how much do you think an Idris will cost? It's too hard to tell at the moment because the economy's not balanced at all at the moment. So, whatever they put in would be a extreme temporary measure. A lot, though. I mean, it would take... They are ships that are meant to be bought with a group over a large period of time. Because they're sort of super powerful ships of war. Do you think Clan Imperium should introduce shield bubbles for outposts? It's... So... Buildings and outposts that they're building and that they want to have can have all the same functions as ships, except for quantum travel. They can they have the same systems and sort of like set up as ships, so like the power and everything. So technically they could have ships. If they wanted to do that, they could. Do you think CIG will allow in-game items to be sold on the grey market like ships are now? I can imagine that this could escalate quickly and get out of hand. It's possible they might change their policies in the future. But it's also possible that they'll just go, we don't support this behaviour, but we don't condone it. We don't condone it or support it, but we don't actively ban people for doing it either, like they do at the moment. So grey market, very much like that. Black market would be, this is against terms of service, so actually your accounts go bye-bye. Hi again, I hope all is well. Do you know when 3.14 will go live? No, we're waiting on it at the moment. We're trying to work out what's going on with it. I do think Open PTU could be available very soon. This weekend, potentially. Asteroid Outpost, I think you'll see them. Sort of... Levski was basically an asteroid outpost, but I think you'll see smaller scale ones as well. Sniper size, 3 quantum drive on asteroid, and then ram it into things. Advent of space now confirmed. Why is it that when we have it, it's absurd? I'm sure. What? What? I'm so confused. When do you think armor will be implemented in the game? Currently, military ships like the Hammerhead just have a large health ball instead of armor. When we have physical damage and physical components, they'll probably put armor in at the same time. And then it won't be a faked system. A lot of Star Citizen community in the military want an amphibious vehicle for search and rescues, an APC. Can you see the Terrapin becoming modular to suit these needs? I want to see a aquatic ground vehicle, probably. The ground vehicle and boat. That's actually what I'd like to see. Amphibious APC is a great idea. APC sub. Five star systems: Stanton, Odin, Nyx, Pyro, and Magnus, probably. For the first five. But unrelated, I just resaw the ad for the Titan Warlock, and I noticed the huge city is on a Crusader moon. You know anything about this? What? It's not a Crusader moon? I thought it was. I thought it was around Arcorp. I haven't actually really thought about it. Can ships swim? Not at the moment. They do want buoyancy and all that sort of jazz there in the future. Bit unrelated. That's literally what I just read. There's so much to test for 3.14. That is indeed. But I need to work out who me and Sin are going to be interviewing next. Let's try and work it out. Looking forward to 3.14 going Open PTU for sure. I'm looking forward to the Nine Tails lockdown and Xeno threat. Yeah, that's going to be good. I liked the post-mortem that Clan Imperium did for 3.13. I thought that was very useful information. For sure, but I worry about occasionally being too clickbaity with my titles on my videos. I don't mean to be that clickbaity. I want a nice title that attracts people to go and watch it, but that means I do clickbait sometimes. I don't mean to. Oh, this is interesting. So they're starting to look for people to get involved with CitizenCon. So they can't have booths this year because it's a virtual event. So they're saying, make some videos, 45-second videos. We'll chuck these videos in as like adverts in between some of the major sections. And if we use yours, we'll give you a Nova tank. Me and Sin have got something planned for this. We don't really want a prize or anything. Give it away on the channel or whatever, or ram it into the sun. We've got a silly idea. Hope it might get used. I'll be really upset if it does. No, Jag, I'm not going to be interviewing the cheeky girls. No, so or John Prescott. What? People that are probably more related to Star Citizen. I should have made that more clear. I think actually thinking about it. Afternoon board, Jake Short. Thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate money. There's some sort of little corgi face as well there. Thanks. Oh, you star. Thank you. Has CIG mentioned any oceans, ocean life, ocean missions? Not really. They've mentioned oceans and seas and some form of aquatic type gameplay. We can see there's aquatic vehicles that were being developed for Squadron 42 in some way. Some aquatic type stuff for some reason. So we're expecting stuff, but I wouldn't expect it to be particularly in depth. What features are you most looking forward to this year? Salvage is a huge thing. I'm hoping that we get some stuff like the Gentile Renderer and Vulcan support. New missions. Salvage is probably the biggest thing for me. And the medical gameplay is pretty big. 3.14 is not live yet. No. How much stuff do you think they have near ready to go for release that's not in the current release? I think they got lots of little things, but a lot of it's stuff like needs testing before they put in. So near ready to go is it's hard to really place, eh? Kilroy. Wow, 6 months with this nerd. Appreciate it, mate. Yeah, that does make you a nerd. A big one. Thanks, buddy. Is Squadron 42 for Christmas 2022 realistic? Oh, I hope so. Why does CIG hurt my soul so much with such long cycle for Squadron 42 development? But Cloud Imperium, there's, what, is it Richard Tyree? He's moved over to Squadron 42. He's FPS game director or something. FPS gameplay director for Squadron 42 or something like that now. So he's one of the big hitters. Cloud Imperium moving over to Squadron 42. Chris is supposed to be moving over to the UK studio to finish out Squadron 42 at the end of this year. I think it was the plan. So looks like there's a big concerted push for it. Should gravity well generators, components or modules be added as part of the ship? The bigger the ship, the heavier the ship, the slower it moves. Fun gameplay. I actually like the idea of webifiers and gravity generators. So this is a way that if you pull a ship out of Quantum, they're not going to be getting away from you so easily unless you deal with the gravity generator or whatever. So maybe. Can you please say yogurt, you monster? Yogat. Yogurt is how you'd say it in the human tongue. Can we breed or breed with plants and animals? They've mentioned we can change our character's DNA with mating and our offspring. No. They haven't said that. So your character DNA is by which you are cloned. Yeah? So in Death of a Spaceman, the current thinking is that if you die, you can potentially be rescued or picked up by a hospital or whatever and taken back. If you died in a weird location and no one can get to you, you died in a weird explosion, you're basically going to be cloned and your memory's transferred over. I assume your memory's transferred over, but you're basically recloned. Eventually, if you keep on dying, your DNA becomes destabilized, and every time you respawn as a clone, your DNA is destabilizing, and eventually you have to create a new character. Now, technically, that character is one of your next of kin, and gets your stuff. Is the idea. Is a kitten. Thank you. I appreciate you clarifying that. Thanks, Jake. Can you put tiny hands on your chair's head so Chris looks like he has tiny hands? Maybe. Just tiny legs. He's got like that, and he's in a bikini. Perfect. How do you feel about having a military carrier about the size of Kraken, something for smaller orgs to sort of have a home base? Isn't that a Kraken? Isn't that a Kraken? Isn't that what a Kraken is? Does the server meshing feature now work as expected? No, server meshing is not in game yet. Middle of next year, I think, optimistically. Might see some tests of it at CitizenCon this year, October 9th. Is the plan for Squadron 42 to still grant citizenship? I believe so. So basically, if you complete Squadron 42 or you get certain places in Squadron 42, you will have access to military gear and stuff like that in the persistent universe with your character. What do you think of the idea of a Carrack cargo pod that holds a droppable mini-sub? I mean, I quite like the idea. It depends on what sort of underwater exploration they want to do. Is it going to be in depth? Is there going to be underwater mining and drilling and stuff? If there is, then yeah, give me the ability to have a Carrack with a underwater sub on it. Why not? Which alien race which most tickles your fancy? I think I like the Tavaran the most. Bird Samurai are cool, right? Space Monkeys or Space Platypus. So my original gaming tag and nickname is Monkey. So probably Space Monkeys just for that. Played Winston a reasonable amount in Overwatch. Are you enjoying the slightly cooler weather today? Yes, I am. It is nice, not as humid as well. However, during the stream, I don't have my aircon on, so it's actually hotter overall. I watched one of Morphologist's videos, and he's gone for NordVPN sponsorship as well. And at the beginning of his videos, he talks about Nord. Maybe that gets good conversion rates. So maybe, I don't like talking about sponsors or adverts at the beginning of my videos because I think you want to watch the video. But I might do an intro and then do literally 2 seconds of get Nord, and then move immediately on. That literally just go NordVPN blue. Sort of thing. Sort of blink and you miss it. Perfect. It's so sad we can't play as Vandal Aliens. Maybe in the future. Maybe you'll be able to play as the other races in the future. Probably not Vandal. But maybe. With the other spaceman, would you ever fly a Merlin and leave the Connie? Possibly stranding yourself in order to play support? Who besides NPCs would risk that? But, I mean, that's a reasonable point. I mean, but the idea is if you get injured if your ship gets damaged, the Merlin, you can eject and probably be rescued. But I see what you mean. It's a very vulnerable thing, eh? I'll write if it's anything over 1.8 to 87 seconds, okay? No worries, Baron. I think that's reasonable. We've negotiated now. RSI branded Mankini when? Oh, wow. What if the ships themselves can go underwater? Well, they want water buoyancy, and maybe some ships will be able to go underwater. The problem is we don't know what Cloud Imperium's sort of plans for that are really yet. Do you know what I mean? Right. I might dash off in a second. And if someone's got I'll answer a couple more questions, then I might dash off because I need to check on my dad. I'll probably stream over the weekend as well at some point if we get Open PTU, because I'll want, and hopefully they'll have a test of Xenothreat or Ninetales Lockdown or something where we can all get sort of like in on. I think Zin's going to be doing some work for me over the weekend as well because he's been doing driving lessons and chilling all this week. But hey, Sitcom, what platforms is it going to be streamed on? Hopefully not only via Twitch. Don't know for sure. Once I have more information about CitizenCon, I'll put it up on my channel. Right, just leave the rest of the crew in the Connie and leave in the Merlin. I see it again. Yeah, see you later. Do you see a place for a ship like the Bebop from Cowboy Bebop in the verse? I think if you want to do solo adventures and fly around, I think like a Carrack or even a Mercury Star Runner is going to be good enough for you. Do you know what I mean? But Carrack's going to give you all the sort of like mod cons and the sort of super long range as like a small base ship, in my opinion. Do you think tier 2 medical beds and facilities should be able to respawn? Should be respawn points like currently intended? Or something that's regulated to tier 1s? I can see what you mean. Maybe there's just going to be... Maybe they will work at tier 2s, but there's going to be some limitations there. I see what you mean, though. But also, having tier 2s as potential respawn for named people, so allows you to go in the Carrack, go to a huge distance away from civilization, someone get injured and then or dies, and then you can still respawn them there without going... Where have they respawned? Oh my god, it's 12 hours away. Is there any news regarding object container streaming? So, is it known when it'll be implemented? So, object container streaming is in game now and has been used for ages. They're moving towards using iCache and server meshing now, and more fully, and sort of like persistent streaming. So, utilizing that technology to have significantly better network code and server meshing, allowing for seamless transition of data between servers, so that you can have loads of players all playing against each other on different servers, but all still having a ship fight with each other. With the insurance thing, if I were to lose my Heartseeker and it's not insured after the game's release, it's absolutely gone, completely unclaimable. Okay. We don't 100% know. There might be some level of statutory insurance for ships, but the expectation is once your insurance has run out when you're in game and you choose not to insure it and take it out still, then you could potentially lose it. Yeah. Yeah, you could refit your Polaris probably to a good level. Right. I love you guys loads. Thank you very much for joining me today. Probably be streaming over the weekend. I'm going to go have a mega nap now. I'm sorry I was only streaming very briefly. We are still waiting on 3.14. I think the main Star Citizen channel. I will drop you off with Sumalak Brothers Ryan. For he is a dude. And he's watching the Star Citizen Live. Love you guys. Appreciate all the love. Talk to you soon. Peace out. Kisses. And there'll be like more videos coming out over the weekend. So check them out. Thank you very much for all the kind words for me and my dad and my family. It is appreciated. But I'm going to go now. Love you.